Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Wehry History and Entertainment News of the Berkshires and beyond. Now that the year is in full swing, more and more entertainment businesses have shows planned for the year. On this episode, I'll be discussing a stand-up show at Mass MoCA, a chance to see the Clark Art Institute for free, and an opportunity to meet a famed film director and scriptwriter who also dabbles as an author. Plus, I'll be reviewing a previous Oscar winner for Best Picture. First, it's time for this episode's trivia question. This episode's question is, which famed sports writer did John Sayles portray in his own 8 Men Out movie? Now, for this episode's local headlines. First, we'll be headed to Mass MoCA for a stand-up comedy show with Jordan Kepler. Second City and Upright Citizens Brigade alum and current Daily Show host Jordan Kepler dishes out some of the shrewdest and funniest cultural commentary going today, skewering the hypocrisy of our surreal political moment with a rare mix of bemused incredulity and genuine empathy. Kepler shares personal stories about his time on the road, including interactions with politicians, entertainment industry experiences, and encounters with colorful characters. The show combines humor and candor, offering commentary on contemporary society. A word of warning, this show is not suitable for children or those who do not care for politics, as Kepler is political by nature. The show is scheduled to take place on Saturday, February 14th at 8:00 p.m. For more information, visit the website shown here. Up next, we will be looking into a new exhibit at the Clark Art Institute. Sonia Almeida will present 3 site-responsive installations for this exhibit in public space at the Clark. Almeida is a professor of fine arts at Brandeis University, where she teaches printing, painting, and fabric arts. Practices she generally combines in a single installation. The artist is fascinated by patterns, image reproduction technologies, and instructional materials. The subtitle Stages reflects her interest in how an artwork performs and the choreography it implies for viewers, but also in process, steps, and layers, of which there are many in Almeida's richly textured works. This exhibit opens on February 14th and is scheduled to run the remainder of the calendar year. Additionally, WWHEN is pleased to announce that the Clark Art Institute is currently having free admission for all patrons from now until the end of March. Visit clarkart.edu for additional information. We are going to the Berkshire Theater Group for their first 2 shows of the season. Up first is Magic Treehouse, Showtime with Shakespeare. Join BTG for this high-energy, family-friendly adventure from the beloved Magic Treehouse series. In Showtime with Shakespeare, Jack and Annie are transported back to Elizabethan England, where they discover the bustling streets of London and the excitement surrounding the Globe Theatre. When they learn that Shakespeare's acting troupe is in trouble and the curtain is about to go up, they jump in to help. With hip-hop beats, dynamic choreography, and lots of laughs, this musical brings history to life in a way that feels fun, fresh, and totally engaging for young audiences. Adapted from book number 25 in the original Magic Treehouse series by Mary Pope Osborne, Showtime with Shakespeare blends adventure, imagination, and hip-hop flair as Jack and Annie use their problem-solving skills and teamwork to save the performance. They also learn that even the greatest artists need encouragement and collaboration. Filled with memorable characters, clever lyrics, and infectious rhythm, this show is a lively and welcoming introduction to Shakespeare's world, while offering a heartfelt reminder that stories connect us across time. This concert takes place on February 14th at 2 p.m. The other show planned is 90s Nation, Alternative Rock. Break out the flannel, Gen X. This night's for you. Get ready for a high-energy blast of 90s alternative rock that will transport you back to the decade of epic anthems, unforgettable memories, and a blessed lack of photographic evidence. It's the ultimate throwback party for anyone who had lived it or wishes they had. 90s Nation, a powerhouse New York City-based band, brings the era's most iconic hits to life with authenticity, sincerity, and electrifying energy. This concert is scheduled to take place on February 21st at 7:30 p.m. For more information on this or any other Berkshire Theater Group event, visit the website shown here. Speaking of concerts, the Wehry Theater is hosting a unique one with Berkshire-born singer Jackson Whalen. Hosted by Berkshire's-born recording artist and music producer Jackson Wallen. The goal of the Berkshire's Music Mixer is to bring the entire local music industry together. This is a space to meet and network with new collaborators, converse about the music scene, and play music together. Whether you're a musician, audio engineer, venue owner, songwriter, or just someone who loves being around music, you're invited. Jackson Whalen is a recording artist and music producer, known for his fierce flow, his uplifting and genre-bursting hip-hop, and versatile beat-making productions, and his dazzling freestyle rap chops. His 100-plus song catalog bursts through the perceived confines of hip-hop, veering into pop, electric, and jam band territory. Whalen's oeuvre includes LPs, EPs, singles, and features. His career highlights include performing at the United Nations, rapping with Questlove on drums and Ray Angry on keys at Producer Mondays in New York City, national tours with Moon Hoots, collaborations with KRS-One, Micah 9, Wax, and other hip-hop legends. This concert takes place on February 17th at 7 p.m. in the Wehry Theater's Indigo Room. For more information, visit wehry.org. For our next piece, we will be visiting Shakespeare and Company in Lenox, but not for a show. Those who visit there this year may notice Shakespeare and Company has some brand new sculptures on the facility. Sculptor Harold Grinspoon has built several new sculptures at the theater company. The looming sculptures, installed by crane in late November, are featured in various locations around the campus, infusing the 38-acre grounds with a new verticality and geometry that seems space-age in turns and primeval in others. Artistic director Alan Burrows said the vibrant pieces will serve to brighten the campus while also rounding off the organization's diverse array of cross-disciplinary offerings. Madeline Calabrese, the curator of Harold Grinspoon Artworks, said the installations were placed to ensure maximum viewership and drive more visitors to the organization, essentially using art to support art. A resident of both Lenox and Longmeadow, the retired philanthropist Grinspoon often enters agreements with arts organizations and other venues to present the sculptures on their grounds for up to 5 years at a time. Grinspoon began his sculpting practice by working with limbs from live oak trees. creating negative space by cutting them apart and twisting the sections in different directions. Then the process evolved again when he began charring, treating, and painting the wood in different projects in order to preserve it. And new design elements ran in tandem. The sculpture melting point, for example, shown here, a charred live oak branch skewered with acrylic rods for sculptural soundness, is an example of that approach. WWHEN thanks the Berkshire Eagle for information on this story. Additionally, the Shakespeare and Company story is dedicated to Tina Packer, the founder of Shakespeare and Company, who passed away earlier in January. On the last episode of WWHEN, I discussed several ski locations in Berkshire County. This episode has another. The Berkshire East Mountain Resort. Organized skiing started on Mount Institute in the mid-1950s when Arthur Art Parker opened a small rope tow operation. Due to the weather and other difficulties, it closed after one short season. Parker spent the balance of the decade gathering investors for a much larger operation on the same mountain. The first double chairlift, a Mueller, was installed for the grand reopening 1961-62 season. A second double chairlift, another Mueller, was installed in 1962. New ownership took over in late 1965, changing the name to Berkshire East at the end of the decade. This ownership struggled, trying a variety of ill-fated expansion plans. By 1975, Berkshire East was almost bankrupt and outdated with 2 partially installed chairlifts and 2 antiquated Mueller chairlifts. Current management soon took over and began a wise, steady series of investments. Berkshire East offers about 1,000 feet of true non-inflated vertical drop with about 20 acres of skiable terrain. It has mixed terrain, beginner to expert level ability, 30% beginner runs, 35% intermediate, 30% advanced, and 5% expert runs. Today, Berkshire Mountain also has 4 chairlifts. Our next story takes us to the North Adams Public Library for a talk and book signing with the famed film director who also doubles as an author. John Sayles is a popular Hollywood director. He is best known for his work directing movies such as 1988's 8 Men Out and 1996's Lone Star, just to name a few movies. Much of his work is produced by independent companies, and he is considered one of the most important figures in the indie film scene. He has also worked as what is known as a script doctor, which means he does uncredited script writing for movies, including hits such as The Fugitive and Apollo 13. Aside from his work in Hollywood, Sayles has also written books, and that's what this discussion will be about. At the North Adams Public Library, Sayles will be discussing his latest book, Crucible, a sweeping historical novel that captures a brutally honest look at legendary industrialist and automobile titan Henry Ford. Emmy award-winning archival researcher and documentary photographer Rich Remsburg will moderate the conversation. This is a great opportunity to meet a notable director who doubles as an author. The talk with John Sayles will be taking place on February 18th at 6:00 p.m. This talk is free for all patrons. Books will be available for signing and purchase at the courtesy of the Bear and Bee Bookshop. Any questions, please email Assistant Library Director Ryan Miller at rmiller@northadams-ma.gov or visit the North Adams Public Library's website shown here. John Sayles also provides the answer to this episode's trivia question. As a reminder, this episode's question was, which famed sports writer did John Sayles portray in his own 8 Men Out movie? The answer is Ring Lardner. Ring Lardner was one of America's most respected baseball journalists in the early 20th century. When the infamous Black Sox scandal, a case in which players from the Chicago White Sox were thrown to the World Series, possibly, the case is complicated, Lardner was one of the first journalists to have broken the case. When John Sayles first started writing and filming 8 Men Out, he hoped to play pitcher Eddie Cicotte, one of the Black Sox members who possibly threw games. But by the time production had started, he realized he aged out of the role and gave it to his good friend David Strathairn, whose own career took off with this movie as well. So it ended up being a win-win scenario for both actor and director. It's now time for this episode's movie portion of WWHEN. This episode, we'll be discussing an older film that was originally streaming on Apple Plus, but now has made its way to a wider viewing public. CODA. This film tells the story of Ruby, a teenage girl living in Gloucester, Massachusetts. She is the hearing daughter of deaf parents, as well as a deaf brother, hence the name of the movie. CODA stands for a hearing child of deaf adult. Ruby has a secret interest in, ironically, singing, and wants to attend Berklee College, one of the country's premier music schools. However, her family wants her to stay to help out with the fishing business they own. Ruby needs to figure out her own path and choose between the family and her dreams. The movie was a surprise success at the 2021 Oscars. It was nominated for Best Screenplay, Best Supporting Actor in Troy Kotsur, who plays the father, and Best Picture. It actually won all three of them, a rare perfect percentage for a film. I think the reason it won Best Picture, and why I like this movie a lot, is because it's a positive, feel-good movie about real people. CODA isn't flashy like most Best Pictures, but its simplicity is what makes it work. The movie has scenes that make you smile, make you cry, and it's just a good movie to be around. While she wasn't nominated for an Oscar, Emilia Jones does a great job as Ruby, and is actually the movie's biggest strength. Prior to this movie, Jones had no experience with sign language or deaf people, but she gave a great performance as the only hearing member of her family. Jones also has a beautiful singing voice. Her cover of Both Sides Now is one of the film's many highlights. CODA was the first streaming-exclusive film to win Best Picture. On previous episodes of WWHEN, I've made fun about streaming service-exclusive movies and TV shows a lot. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I actually understand why this film went streaming exclusive. CODA is a movie that plays much better on a small screen, whether it be streaming or on DVD. It probably would have lost money if it was a theater release, especially since it came out in 2021, when theaters were struggling to recover from COVID. Going the streaming route in 2021 ultimately was the right move. I'm glad it's available to the public. That ends this episode of Wehry History and Entertainment News in the Berkshires and beyond. If you would like to watch this or any other WWHEN episode again, you can visit PCTV's website shown here, or my YouTube page at RT Wehry. And I want to thank CTSB TV and NBCTC for showing my show on their public access station. Thank you.